At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I gotta come out and say it. I didn't take a ton of photos this month. Certainly more than last month, but in total we're looking at about 5 rolls of film. That all being said though, I did take some photos that I'm proud of, and photos that I think are going to be fun to discuss. If you watch the channel, you know that even in the months that I'm not very productive, that I don't take a ton of photos, I still like to make these photo recap videos just to give myself an opportunity to sit back and reflect. Some of the photos that I show here are actually going to be spoilers for future videos on this channel. So yeah, if you're watching this video, consider yourself lucky because you get a sneak peek at what's to come. Alright, let's not waste any more time. Let's get this video started by heading over and seeing what's happening in the kitty corner. Damn, my cats are adorable. Alright, now for my top 5 photos of the month, starting with these. These photos were taken on Kodak Ultramax in a Pentax K1000. So I couldn't pick which photo I preferred, and therefore I'm just going to talk about both of them because this is my channel and I make the rules. I took both of these photos while on a job in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, or I guess as the locals call it, Pawtucket. Correct me if I'm wrong. I went out for a walk as the sun was setting, and that's why you could see in both of these photos that the sun is hitting at pretty much the same angle. I'll talk about this one first, the one that says 400 in the window. I remember when I took this photo, I was trying really hard to find a correct composition. I knew that I wanted the window 400 to be in frame with its shadow behind it. I don't think that this composition is perfect by any means, and part of that has to do with the angle that the sun was hitting and also with the angle that I was able to pull off physically. I think that I was like half in the street trying to get this photo. But what I will say is that this photo makes me feel the way that I feel when I look at certain photographers' work. For instance, someone like Fred Herzog. Fred Herzog is someone who comes to mind when I see this photograph. He had a knack of photographing through windows and catching slivers of light just at the right moment. And that being said, I also only had a brief window of time before the sun set to the point that the shadow swallowed up the shadow of the 400, and I don't know, this photo is just kind of a vibe to me. I have more to say about the other one, so let's talk about that. Now, this other photo of the sun ornament with the white fence has a few interesting elements to it. We've got the sun ornament directly in the center of the frame, and we've got almost this division of the frame into an upside down T, because just beyond the top of the fence we have this white wall, and on either side of the white wall we have different scenes going on with the buildings in the background and the blue sky and the white clouds, and then this dark shadowy area. I read this photo in sort of a analytical, symbolic way. You could almost see someone reading this as looking over the fence at someone else's yard and seeing two things, the bright side of someone's life and the dark side of someone's life, leaving very little room for the in-between. And you could also interpret the sun ornament on our side of the fence, along with the greenery of the bush here and the sunlight hitting the white fence, as an acknowledgement of the way in which we are lucky, or that we are in a moment of brightness. Now, that is me being pretty generous of a photograph that is quite simply a fun decoration on a white fence, but compositionally, it does seem to get interesting and more interesting the longer that you look at it. At least, to me it does. And once again, this is my channel, and I make the rules. This photo is taken on Kodak T-Max 100 with the Bronica SQ-AI. So a video that I put out not long ago about using a yellow filter when shooting black and white photography did fairly well on this channel, and I really appreciate everyone out there who watched that video. If you didn't watch it yet, please go do so. This was my favorite photo out of the bunch that I took for that test roll that I shot with the yellow filter, and I have a hard time exactly explaining why. But I think that part of it has to do with the texture and the detail that comes out of this photo. Every now and then I'm reminded of why shooting medium format has its advantages over 35mm. And this is one of those times because I saw the level of detail in this photograph. Every small crack and wrinkle in home plate, every peak and valley, however microscopic in the dirt, it just really feels like you could reach out and touch this photo. Not much more to say about this one other than outside of photographing things that I find interesting on a compositional level or because of lighting or because of color, I also look at texture, and this is something I saw and immediately thought that the texture in this image would be incredibly interesting to photograph, and frankly, I was right. This photo was taken on expired Kodak Ektachrome E200 in the Canon FT-BQL. Okay, so this is a bit of a sneak preview into a video that's coming out next week. I shot a roll of Kodak Ektachrome that was expired and I had in a bag of expired film that I've slowly been trying to make my way through. It was my first time shooting Ektachrome, let alone expired Ektachrome, and I guess here's another spoiler for next week's video, and that the roll that I shot wasn't developed in E6 chemistry, but was actually cross-processed in C41. You'll have to watch next week's video for further details on all of that, but for now, let's talk about this image. This was one of the only images on the roll that I felt the cross-processed look made more interesting to look at. This is a sculpture that you'll find on the High Line in Manhattan, and I've been there a few times and photographed it a few times, and this particular photo just kind of hits me in the brain, in a particular part of my brain that just wants to keep looking at it. The way that the film rendered the red and also added this wave of blue, which showed up pretty much across the entire roll, and combined those two things, it really just made for an interesting result. There's also another element to this, seeing a barren red tree, which already evokes a sense of unease, and beyond that tree, we see this blue skyscraper. It really sort of gives off that feeling like that Joni Mitchell song, or maybe the Counting Crows, if that's the only version you know, of that song Big Yellow Taxi. There's that line in there where they say pave paradise and put up a parking lot. This photo almost gives me those vibes, but in a more sort of cyberpunk way. You have this red, dead, or dying tree with this skyscraper behind it shot on this expired film. It definitely makes me uncomfortable with this air of saying that nature is dying in favor of human interference, if that makes any sense. And to wrap it all in a little bow, it really makes you think about film stocks that we've lost over the years. And I know that Ektachrome came back in 2018, but that was only E100. This was shot on E200, and so getting to shoot an expired roll of E200 is a bit of an honor, but as they say, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. This photo was taken on Kodak Color Plus 200 with the Ricoh XR2. I'm going to echo a few things that I said back with that home plate photo. I took this photo purely for an experiment with looking for texture. And beyond that, there's another video that's coming later in August where my girlfriend Harley and I had a bit of a challenge for ourselves. It was her idea, so I'm going to give her all the credit, don't worry. But she thought, why not the two of us go out and take some photos, and the goal is to take photos of things that make us happy. That was the key word, happy. And this turned out to be more difficult than you might imagine because it really forces you to reflect on what it is you're about to photograph and ask yourself, does this thing that I'm photographing make me happy? Or is it really some mixture of some other indescribable emotion? Most of the time, happiness isn't what's derived from the things that I'm photographing, and that's a weird thing to say, perhaps. I'm probably feeling a myriad of other emotions, but happiness is another thing entirely. So you might be asking, why did you take an up-close photograph of an ottoman that was sitting on a sidewalk that was being given away for free? Did this really make me happy? The answer is probably not. But this is going to lead me down a rabbit hole of talking about things that I alluded to in my last photo recap video. But looking at the photo and having a chance to reflect on my feelings, I've been taking moments and opportunities to find the happiness within the image that I've already taken, if that makes sense. So while the things in the photograph might not elicit happiness in the moment, when you're able to step back and allow yourself to feel and connect with whatever is in the image, you allow yourself the opportunity of returning to the moment and giving the moment the respect it deserved in the first place. We're not all perfect, and we can't always be in tune with the universe at all times, and I think that one of the greatest things that photography has gifted us as human beings is the opportunity to reflect on the past and to view it in a new light. So, why did I take a photo of this ottoman on the side of the road being given away for free? If the task was to take photographs of what makes you happy, well, if I had to give an answer, I would say that the thing that makes me happy about this is the memories that it holds. And I know that's going to sound strange on the surface, but I've always had this somewhat unique relationship with objects. I've always been very attached to objects. I've always viewed things as more than their utility. I feel as though we all do this subconsciously, but maybe people are just more selective with what they do it with. And I'm not saying I'm a hoarder or anything, but what I am saying is that throwing out a bit of furniture, whether it be a couch or an ottoman or a kitchen table, will end up making me more emotional than I would say it should. And I think that's because I don't view objects as objects. I view them as time capsules, and I view them as vessels for memories. While it doesn't make me happy to see someone's vessel of memories left on the curb for any old Joe Schmo to take, it does make me happy to see something that was given the opportunity to harness those memories, and if I'm being generous with my thinking, is in search of a new home, a home where it could generate and harness more memories from someone else. It's like the end of Toy Story 3, when Andy decides he can give his toys away to the girl down the street because they're going to provide her with something that Andy no longer needs. That's what I think of when I see this photo, and sure, you can call it pretentious and you can call it overanalyzing, but that to me is part of the joy of photography, is being able to extract meaning out of the mundane. I think a lot of us do this, and frankly, that just makes me happy. This photo was taken on Lomo 100 in the Mamiya C330. And last but not least, we have this photo of my friend Matt as he was lying on the beach last month. I took this photo on my Mamiya C330, which is a camera that I am slowly but surely getting the hang of. Even though right after I took this photo, the camera kind of jammed up a little bit and had a bit of a malfunction and I couldn't wind to the next frame. It was very stressful, yeah. I'm going to have a lot of thoughts about that camera when it comes time for me to do a full review of it. But this photo, I enjoy. I put it on this list for the main reason, which is that it's a friend of mine. The summertime is often viewed as a period of time when perhaps we allow ourselves to surround ourselves with those that we care deeply about, whether that be our friends or our family. I have had the fortunate and unfortunate opportunity of working pretty much nonstop for the last 4 months. And in that time, while I am certainly friends with my coworkers, I haven't had a ton of time to spend with my other friends and family. So on the off chance that I had some free time, Harley and I would decide to go to the beach and ask our friends if they'd like to join us. So while I was at the beach with my friend Matt and a few others, I got to take this photo as he was lying there, and I think it's a nice photo, even if it does kind of look like that umbrella is impaling him in his stomach. I bought a 3-pack of Lomo 100, and this was the third roll of that 3-pack, and I'm a little on the fence on how I feel about it, but overall, I was pretty satisfied with the results that I got out of it. I also like that in this image you could see me in the reflection in the sunglasses taking the photo. I'm wearing this hat. And also, I was very happy to see that I actually nailed focus, which historically is not something that's very easy to do with this camera, at least for me, because of the waist level viewfinder that I have on that camera. So let this be a lesson to anyone out there, if I can impart any sort of wisdom, to take photos of your friends. It's really that simple. And that'll do it for this July 2024 edition of Photo Recap. This was a unique month of photographing for me, and you may have noticed something if you were a keen observer. But every single photo that I showed you was taken on a different film stock with a different camera. And this has happened before, but these are the months that I feel most accomplished with this photographing journey, because I have an opportunity to diversify my portfolio and diversify the photos that I'm taking and the ones that I'm happy with. And if I could be happy taking photos on all of my cameras on any number of film stocks, then I feel like it's an indication that it isn't the gear that is taking photos that I'm happy with. It's actually my eye and my intuition and just my overall ability to take photos that I'm happy with. So that is a particular lesson that I hope you all get out of this video. I'll see you all at the end of August for a photo recap at the end of the month. I have a few videos that are already planned to come out. It's going to be a busy month, and I can't wait to share with you all what I have in store. Do all the normal things. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell to be notified when new videos are released. You can go ahead and find that join button, and for a few bucks a month, you could become a member and help this channel grow into the future. You could also help support this channel by going to my print shop and consider buying a print. You could also follow me on Instagram, and don't forget, if you are a book reader and you like fiction and you like novels, I did write a book. It's called Ultra Boys. I made a whole video about it. You could watch that video and see for yourself if it's something that you want to purchase and help support me as a writer. All right, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you all next time.